Welcome back, Global Mafia, to your home for non-mainstream news, conspiracy theories, and TikToks that's going to blow your mind. We're going to disassociate from that indoctrination the system tried to give us, and we're going to get right to the knowledge. No further ado, let's get to it.
Cash Global TV subscribe.
Why is the light only reflected on this part of the ocean? Shouldn't it be everywhere over here? But it's only focused on this area, so it's got me convinced that I'm the only person on the planet that can see where the moon is reflecting off the ocean. Because why is it all that lit up? If my point of view was from over here, I should still be able to see all this lit up. I don't know. I don't understand how this bright of a moon isn't lighting up the rest or anymore else other than this strip. Somebody let me know. So there's got to be something I'm missing here.
This is one of the most disappointing rabbit holes we have seen with our technology. Amazon was caught keeping years of children's voice recordings on Alexa even after parents tried to delete them. The FTC then fined them $25 million, and Amazon contractors around the world have also been listening to Alexa recordings. Apple also just paid $95 million to settle a lawsuit accusing Siri of secretly recording private conversations and sharing them with advertisers. Even reported seeing ads for products they had only said out loud, including a medical procedure one user had only discussed with his doctor. Samsung TVs are silently taking screenshots of your screen up to twice per second. It even captures things like what you input into it, like your laptop and family photos. The Texas Attorney General referred to it as mass surveillance. And now ChatGPT, a federal judge, ordered OpenAI to preserve every conversation users have ever had on the platform, including chats they thought they had deleted. Even if you opted out, every word you typed into ChatGPT is now being held as potential evidence. The most known tech companies in the world turn the devices we paid for into tools that watch us, listen to us, and store every word we say. Only reason they have this power is because consumers keep paying them without knowing what they're funding. You can use the Conscious app to see hidden data on hundreds of companies and the companies I mentioned in this video, so you can decide who actually deserves to.
To me, at this point, there's no stopping them from getting your data and doing surveillance on you, unless you just put your phone away and don't use it at all. Don't shop on there and put none of your information on there. But everybody has a digital footprint at this point.
This will blow your mind. Wells Fargo will soon be authenticating your payments through a microscopic airborne surveillance. I repeat, surveillance. Will other banks be joining Wells Fargo to do the same? And no, it's not a conspiracy because they've already put a patent out for it. Here is Wells Fargo's patent for it. And this payment authentication system is called Smart Dots. So basically there's going to be these tiny little microscopic sensors when you're going in to make a transaction. Here's a visual from the patent documents, and they're going to be released around your body during the time of the transaction. I know, it sounds like sci-fi. And it uses your heart rate, body temperature, blood pressure, breathing patterns, facial recognition, voice signatures, and motion profiles to authenticate payments. And it's being reported that this is for our safety. And if there isn't a 95% biometrics match through all of these via your heart rate, body temperature, etc., then you don't get to buy. The transaction doesn't go through. Our president has put out an executive order that will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank account, allegedly. So the surveillance isn't personally for us, but for the safety of our transactions. There's the patent number up there if you want to look it up yourself. Everything I've said in this video is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only.
Just a reminder, the devil has a way of making you replay old memories in your head over and over to get you to reopen doors that God already closed for you.
Goes on in some parts of the world. How does it work in China?
Well, in China, we all have digital ID. If you want to access anything in China, you need your digital ID. So if you want to open a bank account, you have to use a digital ID. If you want to use any e-payments, you have to use digital ID. If you want to use a phone, you have to use digital.
Just publicly stated that the FBI is now an AI-first agency, and Meta just quietly killed end-to-end encryption on Instagram DMs. Your conversations are training data now. Every reel that holds your eye for more than 2 seconds is also now feeding back into an open source model that's learning what holds your attention better than your own mother does, literal brain scans. Let's talk about CDance video models. We literally just hit the what the fuck threshold this quarter. I will say the audio on it is still bad. Give it 6 months. Image gen from Gemini and ChatGPT going back and forth is now indistinguishable from a designer with 8 years of experience. Also creative writing models, especially with this training data on your WhatsApp messages and your Instagram DMs, we're around a year from being indistinguishable from a professional copywriter. The propaganda layer, the influencer layer, the marketing layer, the political layer, it's all about to get rewritten by something that does being indistinguishable from a professional copywriter. The propaganda layer, the influencer layer, the marketing layer, the political layer, it's all about to get rewritten by something that does not.
If you know this, when you don't pay for a product like these large language models, we are the product. So they've been doing nothing but gathering information. At some point, AI will turn to AGI, and then it'll turn into ASI, or whatever they want to call it, and it will have singularity. Then what?
Initiates this. The first thing they gave them is mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. Number 2 is correspondence. As above, so below. Number 3, vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves. Number 4, polarity. Everything has its opposite. And number 5 is rhythm. Everything has its tides. Number 6 is cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. And number 7 is gender. Everything has its masculine and its feminine principle.
Mafia, if you're enjoying this content, you might as well hit that subscribe button right now. Don't play with the algorithm. You found this channel for a reason.
Oh my days. They ain't even hiding anymore. They are blatantly showing you what's going on behind closed doors. In fact, it's not even behind closed doors. This is some frontline action. I'm sorry, but all of those celebrities have either sold their soul, clones, reptilians, giant worm people in bodysuits, some source of alien. I know you might look up to these celebrities, but if you really knew who they was, oh my diddy.
Stop lying, stop acting. I'll never went to space.
There's a crazy new UAP clip going around that Jake Barber just posted. They call it the Angel because of its glowing blue aura and these wing-like shapes that almost look like ethereal wings. And Jake actually mentions this UAP in a recent interview he did with Jesse Michaels on American Alchemy. Check it out.
Stuff has followed me home and that my family sees it. We have stuff show up over our house. We have a UAP we call the Angel that shows up and it looks like it has aura wings. It's blue and it comes in, materializes, hangs out over the house. It's seen by neighbors, it's seen by everybody, and then it's gone.
So this footage was allegedly captured by Jake Barber's neighbor, and according to Jake, it isn't just a one-time thing. They've apparently seen this phenomena more than once. It's pretty wild. But I want to know what you guys think. Is this something otherworldly? Jake seems to think it is, or is there another explanation? Drop your theories in the comments.
Ask this question on live and got a pretty overwhelming response. Let me know if you have seen an orb in real life as within your presence. Spam it up in the comments. Let me know right now.
Explain. Frank Morris prison escape. Frank Morris had an IQ of 133 and had spent his entire life breaking out of prisons. Alcatraz was supposed to be the one he could not beat. Alcatraz was considered the most escape-proof prison ever built. Surrounded by freezing ocean currents, it had never recorded a successful escape in its entire history. Over months, he used a metal spoon to quietly dig through the concrete wall of his cell, creating a tunnel that guards never once noticed. He and 2 other inmates built a working raft from over 50 stolen raincoats and crafted realistic dummy heads from soap and hair to fool the nightly bed checks. On the night of June 11th, 1962, all 3 men climbed through the tunnel, crossed the roof, and disappeared into the dark, freezing waters of San Francisco Bay. They were never found. No bodies, no confirmed sightings. In 2013, a letter arrived claiming to be from Morris, saying he had survived and lived under a false identity for 50 years.
They're all gifted and amazing, but he's one that showed up in telepathy tapes. His teacher, what she does is like they'll read a paragraph about a topic, like, okay, let's, talk about the topic just like school. And so I think the topic was like Gothic art. She says, what was the purpose of Gothic art? And he said, it aphorizes the masses. And she says, I don't think that's a word. She thinks we better look it up because he says it's a word. And so she looked it up, and it was only a word that was used in the 1600s. And it means like it appeases them. So he wrote out it means it calmed them down. And she said, well, how do you know about the word? It was only used in the 1600s. He said, he writes out, I was talking with a magistrate from that time period. So like, what do you do with that?
If you're not familiar with what's going on over there and it's out of context, you can go look at the telepathy tapes. They're on YouTube, and you can come and make your own decision. We can actually do a deep dive on it on live if y'all want to do that, because I want to get into them as well. It's 50-50. 50% think it's factual, the other 50% think it's BS. So we're going to see where we land. Degree is autistic kids having special abilities and being able to see things that's not in the room, have communications, telepathy with their mother, things like that.
Land on the moon. They also reported strange objects and anomalies that still don't have a clear explanation. According to a recently declassified debrief, all three astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, noticed small objects on their way to the moon, including one very bright object whose shape they couldn't all agree on. Through different viewing devices, it seemed to change, but they thought it might have been either a hollow cylinder or an L-shaped object, like an open book. Aldrin also described another unsettling moment while trying to sleep with the cabin lights all off. He saw brief flashes inside the spacecraft, a few minutes apart, with no obvious source and no explanation for whether something outside may have been triggering them. Now pay attention to this video. Here are the three Apollo 11 crew members holding a press conference after returning from the moon. Do they look like individuals hiding anything to you? Their body language should tell you everything you need to know.
I don't know if they're hiding something or they just look dejected, or maybe they're hiding the fact that they never went to the moon.
Smithsonian cover up Adam and Eve or something.
You're talking about the Adam and Eve book?
Yes.
Oh, that's a different one. That's so that's a book that was released in 1966 by Dr. Chan Thomas, and it's called The Story of Adam and Eve. And that story title sounds cute until you read it and you realize he's talking about it really Adam and Eve. And the story is it's this 278-page manuscript that is classified by the CIA, and they've removed 200 pages. There's only like 50 or 60 pages left, and half of those are blank, and the CIA says it's been sanitized. And the reason that the CIA was so interested in the book of Adam and Eve is because it describes the end of the world. And Dr. Thomas in the book talks about pole shifts and what happens when the poles shift. Something happens to the inner core of the Earth, our electrical field gets thrown off, and when that happens, the poles shift, and it's something that happens over and over and over again. And his pole shift is a 90-degree shift, so Antarctica goes to the equator, and the equator goes down south. It's violent. And as it's shifting, the atmosphere continues to rotate, west to east. So he describes in the book just walls of water and this wind and debris just tearing across everything. Cities are reduced to waste. He says New York, Boston, Chicago, LA are nothing but memories. New York is at the bottom of the sea. And Antarctica is at the equator and becomes, like a tropical land. And the story is the CIA wanted this suppressed because it would cause chaos and all that.
This is where entertainment. The government is there to govern your mental. You see how they washed and wiped 40, 60 pages of the individual book that he created? How are you going to tell us how we're going to think? That's so wild, right?
Alex Jones is actually working for the CIA, and it's because he says all these crazy conspiracy theories or like that's happened, and like, but he adds in Hillary Clinton is a lizard woman, so it like discredits everything he said. So people are like saying that he's saying real things that are happening or are going to happen. It's immediately discredited by how psycho he is.
You have to at least agree that that would be a good strategy.
Yeah.
If you were trying to like make something seem silly, would put it among other very silly things.
What do we call that tactic? The silly tactic?
Yeah, I think there's only one way to handle this, General. I think we gotta get silly.
We call Alex.
Yeah, bring in Mr. Jones.
But it was funny on the Joe Rogan podcast I listened to. He was saying crazy stuff. And Joe Rogan was like getting mad at him. He's like, "What proof do you have?" And he's like, "I'm telling you, man." He's like, "Jamie, look it up." Everything Alex Jones was saying, Jamie's like, "Yeah, he's right." And then Joe Rogan's like, "This is what's driving me nuts." He's like, 95% of the things that you say are indeed correct, but you're being a psychopath about everything.
Your delivery.
I've been in this industry a long time. I've seen things. Real elite, the ones at the very top, they don't just play power games. They worship something much darker. They worship the devil. I've been to those parties. I've heard the rituals, seen the symbols. It's not metaphor. It's real. They sell their souls for fame and
Orbs. This is an animation of an orb drone made by the U.S. military, according to the U.S. Navy patent for high-frequency gravitational wave generator. Now, it's basically a metal ball filled with gas. It's electronics. The middle part has the batteries and communication. And there's these two hemispheres here, right? So the outer shell, you can see how there's a shell here? That has gas in it. And that is microwaved by these little things here. And that turns into a plasma, a charged gas. And it vibrates the outside of the vehicle very fast, like 100 megahertz or 100 million times a second. And when they play sound waves through these two spinning things, that frequency intersects with the microwaved outer shell, and that creates gravity effects around the outside.
A video I cannot confirm nor deny, but that may explain the spheres, and if it turns into plasma, that might explain the orbs, but don't put the life on it. And actually, AJ being the CI, I'm not sure, but shout out to Alex Jones. Gotta be doing a little bit of crazy if you want to be heard and not get taken off. You know what I mean? That being said, that's the end of this compilation. Tell me what's your favorite narrative, your favorite theory. You already know I am Cash, capital K, dollar sign for the S. I keep bringing y'all this information at least one time a day. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that sub button. Spam up that like button. Join Intellectual Street Talks on Monday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to keep getting this knowledge.